No one ever built an empire by following the rules. Not the ones etched in dusty rulebooks, not the ones society swears by. Those rules, those so-called truths, they're chains disguised as guidance, and every minute you spend trying to fit inside them is another second you waste strangling your own potential. Feel that fire inside? That stubborn whisper that screams you're meant for more? It's not a glitch. It's the raw signal of a mind too wild, too sharp, too alive to be caged by normality. Look around and you'll see startup stories. Millions play it safe, ticking boxes, following frameworks recycled 1,000 times. Look closer and guess who's winning? The rule breakers. The ones who ripped up the manual and burned it without looking back. Their success isn't luck. It's pure rebellion. A refusal to accept the comfort of conformity, the hypnotic pull of mediocrity. If you want that edge, that spark that turns a desperate idea into a movement, you have to embrace being the outlier. Not just once in a while, but every single day. Startups that break the rules aren't just lucky rebels. They understand a brutal truth. The world is lying. It sells freedom, but hands you chains in shiny packaging. It preaches equality, but crushes anything that dares to stand out. It rewards those who fit in, while silently erasing those who shake the foundations. If you keep buying into this illusion, you're signing up to be a cog, not a king. Here's the brutal part. This isn't because you lack talent or passion. It's because the system is designed to filter you out. It filters out the ones who think differently, who challenge norms. It wasn't built for you. Normal isn't your enemy. It's the trap. Breaking free means rejecting the comfort the system offers, even when it burns. Because freedom, the real kind, is not comfortable. It's demanding. It's lonely. It's terrifying. But nothing worth having ever came easy. So how do the winning startups escape the trap? They stop playing catch-up. They stop waiting for permission. Instead, they build questions into everything. Why must it be done this way? Who decided that's the rule? What if it's wrong? Every rule is just a story someone else invented to explain their world, not yours. Forget what you thought was true. You don't owe history or tradition a thing. Invent your own truth. Here's the kicker. Most people think rule breaking is chaos. It's not. It's precision rebellion. Not random destruction, but deliberate detonation of worn-out ideas to make space for the new. You need to skillfully unlearn what was drilled into you. Safe ways to think, safe bets to make, safe visions to chase, and cultivate a mindset that lives in the tension of the unknown. Startups that win master this tension. They don't fall apart when rules collapse. They thrive. But rebellion alone isn't enough. You need control over your own mind and choices. To become truly unstoppable, sovereignty is key. Your will becomes your weapon. When you own your decisions so fiercely that no external pressure sways you, that's where transformation begins. The startups that shatter norms have founders who don't just accept reality, they rearrange it. That's why patient, meticulous cultivation of independence is not just sexy talk, it's survival strategy. Here's something powerful often missed. Transformation is never solo. The loner myth is poison. Real rule-breaking startups form secret, brutal alliances with the few who burn as fiercely as they do. They don't just network, they synchronize. They create synergy that the system can't touch or mimic. The rare must find each other like stars in a dark sky, because together, the misaligned brilliance transforms from isolated sparks into a roaring flame that no status quo can contain. And it's not about belonging to a club or joining a gang. It's about deep, fierce alignment. Align with those who see the world as fluid, as a canvas rather than a cage. Align with those who don't ask for permission, but enforce standards internally, ones that fuel growth, push boundaries, and carve out real freedom. This alignment isn't social convenience. It's brutal fuel. Still, impatience kills more dreams than failure ever will. The rules you break won't vanish overnight. The system will push back, hard and often. So winning means playing the long game. You need a kind of patience that feels like burning below the surface, but never means giving up. Eternal patience. Resilience that looks invisible, but is as sharp as any sword. Startup legends aren't the fast and furious. They're the steady and relentless. If you're hungry to break rules and win, you have to kill the fear of being different, of not fitting in. The world tries to soothe you into silence, but silence is slavery. True freedom means carrying your fire, even when it's lonely, even when it hurts. The startups changing everything are those that refuse to smother that fire for convenience, because convenience is the enemy of greatness. Here's the truth that will change everything. The system doesn't just ignore exceptional talent, it actively erases it by design, offering you a cookie-cutter path instead of a battlefield where you can fight for your unique vision. To truly win, find the infrastructure that exists for you, the network made for rule breakers, the rare minds craving transformation. If you can't find it, build it. Surround yourself with the few who blaze their own trail and welcome you to walk alongside. Remember, breaking rules is not reckless. It's revolutionary. It's the difference between a startup that fades into background noise and one that redefines the future. Every rule you challenge is a cracked cage. Every truth you rewrite is another step toward liberation. Not just yours, but everyone who dares to follow. If you want to win, don't just break rules, burn them down. Then build something so powerful, so fearless, so unignorable, that the world doesn't have a choice but to listen. This is about more than product market fit or growth hacks. It's about unleashing raw, unfiltered human potential against a world desperate to tame it. Are you ready to be ruthless with your freedom? To stop borrowing life scripts and start writing your own? To find your tribe of fire-starved misfits and align for something greater than survival? To challenge every assumption until the old world breaks apart and the new world begins? This is your moment. Don't just break the rules. Destroy them. Forge your startup as a weapon of change. Own your will. Question everything. Transform real pain and frustration into unstoppable power. Align with the few who get it and never play the long game alone. The world hasn't yet made a home for the exceptional, but you will. Together with the rare, with the fierce, with the radical, the impossible becomes inevitable. Rule breakers don't just win, they reinvent what winning even means. Now is the time to burn with purpose, act with sovereignty, and become the unstoppable fire the future needs.